Hi Flosstube friends, my name is Chris. Welcome to my channel. Today is Friday, September 30th, which also happens to be the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation here in Canada. I do want to read you just a little bit about that. The day honors children who never returned home and survivors of residential schools, as well as their families and communities. Public commemoration of the tragic and painful history and ongoing impacts of residential schools is a vital component of the reconciliation process. I'm going to put some links down below if that is something you're interested in learning more about. But I just wanted to pay honor to those people, to the children that never returned home, and to the survivors and their families and communities. So thank you for indulging me in doing that. So let's get started today with our September wrap-up. I wanted to start off by talking a little bit about the retreat that I went to. I'd mentioned that in my last video. I was heading out to my second Hidden Stitchers retreat, and the second was just as wonderful as the first. Just a great time. We actually had twice the amount of people as we did the first time because there was more restrictions earlier in the year when we went back in March, but I think we had about 12 people in March, and this time we had, I believe, 25 people. So lots of fun. We started on the Friday night. We were scheduled to arrive at the retreat center at 6, and we did decide this year that we would eat before we arrived. Last time we did a potluck supper, but we did find by the time everybody arrived, we got all the food ready and ate, it ended up taking up a lot of the evening time, and this time we thought it'd be nice if people just ate before they came so we could come, settle in, and start stitching. So a number of us did get together at a local pub not too far from the retreat center and had an early supper, and then headed over to meet there, you know, between 5:30 and 6. So that was a really fun add-on to the weekend. So yeah, we got there, we got tables set up, rooms assigned, and everybody just sort of settled in and started stitching. But there were some gifts that people brought for everybody at the retreat. Joanne gave everybody these cute little boxes that had a little bat on them. I think she maybe made them with her Cricut. And inside she had some little gifts for us. I think there was like a little mint and stuff, but what she made for everybody was a little pin like this with your name, and it says the Hidden Stitchers. And then if you wanted to, you could just use a magnet. It doesn't actually have a pin back, but you could just use a magnet and wear it on your shirt, or you could use it as a needle minder. So that was really sweet. I do know there were a couple other gifts, and forgive me because I do not remember or know the names of the people that gifted them. I know there were some thread drops, which I didn't pick up myself because I don't tend to use thread drops, so I thought I would leave those for people that do like to use them. As well as somebody had brought needle minders for everybody, as a gift for everybody, which was very generous. Which again, I don't tend to use needle minders a lot, so I just left those for the people that do enjoy those and like to use them. My friend Wendy, who's a great sewer, made these really cool, you can use them as a key fob if you want to put your keys on them, or you could attach it to a bag as an extra strap, that sort of thing. But she made one of these for everybody, and the fabrics are so nice and they're beautifully made. So that was a really fun gift. We also were lucky this time to have Rolanda from Hand Dyed by Rolanda attend the retreat, and she generously gifted everybody a small piece of fabric, kind of like an ornament size fabric, as well as some of her hand-dyed floss. So that was very generous of her to do that. So this is the fabric that she gave us, and I didn't even know this fabric existed, but it's called Alma cloth, and it's like a 28 count. So Rolanda said that it's kind of good for people that are just learning to stitch on linen. I think it's a little bit maybe easier than stitching on a full-blown linen. So yeah, so little 10 by 10 piece for everybody. And then there was, I think there's maybe 3 different colors. Mine's more like teals and teal with a little bit of yellow in it, a little bit of white. I saw others that had, I think, a little bit of pink in them as well, and then others that were more just kind of like blue and white. But all really pretty and lovely fabric. And this is the floss that she gave us all, this pretty sort of purpley magenta colored variegated floss. So very, very pretty. So yeah, so that's hand dyed by Rolanda. That's her website there. But I will link that down below if you are interested. And then Jenny, the organizer of the retreat, commissioned me again to make bags for everybody. So this year we decided to do the little mini sort of notions bag. So this was the fabric line that we picked, and every one of these little bags was different because I used different combinations of squares. And then they just have a lining in there. And then in the bag, she had purchased some items from Rolanda to put in everybody's little bag. So one thing that we got were these sulky threads. So a lot of us were excited because we haven't used these yet. So this will give us an opportunity to try out these sulky threads. And then a set of Bowen needles, the 28s. So that was a really nice gift as well. So I think, oh, I was gonna say, I think that covers it for the gifts, but I also took gifts for everybody. I had seen these online a while ago and thought they looked really cute and fun. So I thought this would be a good opportunity to maybe make them up and give them to people as gifts. So they're made out of 2.5-inch squares. So I had a lot of those kicking around from between my scraps and from a lot of the bags and that I had made. But I made these little pincushion chickens. So they're just made out of 2 squares of fabric, and you just put the little beak and the comb on the top. And then I've stuffed them with the crushed walnut shells, just so they have a little bit of weight so they sit nicely. So I'll put a picture in here because I made, everyone was different. So I think I had about 32 of them for people to pick from. So I'll put a picture there of the bowl, a bowl full of them for people to choose from. This poor guy was one of the ones I made near the beginning, and I realized I kind of messed up when I made him because his comb should have been on this side and his beak on this side. So he kind of looks like he's gazing up in the sky. Say he's just chillaxing, just laid back, watching the world go by. Anyway, those are my little chickens that I made and gifted, and everybody seemed to get a kick out of them, so that was fun. So yes, that was mostly Friday night, just settling in, getting to know people, stitching. The retreat organized snacks for us that night. I think there was some popcorn and potato chips and cookies. Everything, again, the food is just amazing there. And then Saturday, again, tasty breakfast. And then Jenny had brought a activity. Last time we had done journals, and Jenny brought some Mod Podge and some scrapbooking paper, and we were able to Mod Podge our own little journals. This year she brought these really cute little wooden trays that she had found, I think, at the dollar store. And then you could Mod Podge the different papers on there and customize it. And it could be like a little stitching tray if you wanted to set it beside you to put your scissors and things in. I didn't end up making one. I was just having fun working away at my stitching and visiting with people. I'm kind of regretting it now, but at the time that's what it was. But I'm sure other people have maybe shown it in their videos if they made one as well. So, but I think a lot of people had fun doing that. And then on Saturday afternoon, we did our smalls exchange, and that was always fun, as it always is. So I'm going to show you what I received. Mine was made by Lynn, who was one of the original Hidden Stitchers. So in her gift for me, she included these cute little scissors that have this little rubber tip on them. So I think these would be ones if you were traveling on an airplane that you could take with you. And then this really cool needle threader that I'd never seen one like that. That's like, it's nice and sturdy, so it doesn't feel like it should break, and it's easy to grip with this butterfly. So that's cool. And then she made this adorable, and she did apologize. She had glued the cup originally to the saucer, I think, just so it wouldn't fall off, but I think it's okay the way it is. So I'm gonna take it off. So like, I don't know where she got this cute little petite cup and saucer, but that's adorable. And so in here is her actual stitching, which is this pretty little floral wreath. Tiny, tiny stitches. And then she's put these really cute heart pins in here. And then there's some charms. So there's like a scissor charm and a thread bobbin charm. So pretty. So that is beautiful. Thank you, Lynn. And so that's going on my little shelf with all my other little smalls exchanges and gifts from my stitchy friends. So my small, I kept as a surprise because last time I had shown things when I was doing my smalls. So this time I wanted it to be a complete surprise so that nobody would know. But I did take some pictures, so I'll put those in here. So this is a picture of the stitching when I did it. So I did another cat. This is by the same designer as the first one. So that's what it looked like when it was stitched. And then here's a picture of it finished. So that's what it looked like when it was finished. And then on the back, I put Hidden Stitchers Autumn 2022. So yeah, so that was fun. I don't know now, that's 2 cats I've done in a row for smalls exchanges, if I'm gonna be expected to bring cats every time now or not. I'm not sure, but we'll see what the future brings for future events. So that was Saturday, and yeah, I had great meals again. We had our same cook that we had last time, Amanda. She's just amazing. She's an amazing cook. She's the nicest, kindest person. It's always so fun to go in the kitchen and chat with her. But yeah, so she did not disappoint. And then Sunday, basically, we had breakfast and lunch there. We just stitched, and things kind of wrapped up around 3 o'clock, and people just started to head out, and that was the end. But again, just a beautiful, relaxing weekend, hanging out with great people. The weather was great this time. I know myself and Tanya went out for a walk at one point. I think a lot of people went out and explored a little bit around the retreat. We couldn't do that so much in March because it was pretty muddy and wet kind of thing. But yeah, it's just a beautiful place to have a retreat, and we just had a lot of fun and are looking forward to we're gonna do it again next fall as well. So that was sort of my life update for September. So let's get into stitching now. So looking at my statistics for September, I had one new start, which was my cat for the smalls exchange, which also was a finish and which also was a full finish. That was the only one that fell into those categories. And then as far as whips, I actually only stitched on 5 whips this month. So let's start taking a look at what I actually did. So let me just move some things out of the way here. So the first project is my primary focus project, or my focus project number 1. It is Behind the Bit, which is a pattern by White Willow Stitching. I'm stitching it on an 18 count oatmeal Aida with all the called for DMC. This is what it will look like when it's finished. It's a pattern made from a photograph. And this, oh, I'll put a picture up here of where it was the last time that you saw it. And here is where it is now. So, I was excited about moving over there and starting to work on the horse's face. So I've got quite a bit done, so I'm pretty happy. Still having fun working on this. So yeah, it's going really well. So that, obviously I was working on during the weeks of September, you know, usually at least 3 days a week. I took it to the retreat and worked on it pretty much all day on the Saturday, I think. And I even worked on it, it came up as a weekend project just last weekend. And I was happy to keep stitching on it because I was having fun. So that is going well. My other focus project for the month of September was horses by the designer Merejka. It's actually a kit that I had purchased during my Stitch All the Horses sale in 2021 during the month of July. So that's what it's going to look like when it's finished. I will put a picture here of what it looked like the last time you saw it. And here is where it's at now. So I've kind of filled in more of that dandelion. I started the corner of the full coverage part. And yeah, making some decent progress with that. So now for weekend projects. So the first weekend in September I worked on my small, so that primitive cat. So that was that first weekend. The next weekend the wheel picked Hunter and Foxhound, which is a Luca S kit, and I'm stitching it on the 16 count Aida that came with the kit. With all of the flosses that were in the kit, which I should mention the last kit is also on a, is it a 16 count Aida, or yeah, it's a 16 count Aida as well, and the flosses that come with the kit. But so this is what Hunter and Foxhound will look like when it's finished. And here's where it's at right now. Oh, I'll put a picture, sorry, of where it was the last time you saw it. And here's where it's at now. I didn't get a tremendous amount done. I think almost another column on that page, but yeah, every stitch counts, right? And then the other projects I worked on were when I was at the retreat. So on the Friday night, I worked on Shooting Stars, which was a Christmas sale, I think from 2020 maybe, featured on the Silk Stitching app. I'll put a picture of what it'll look like when it's done here. And then where it would have been the last time you saw it, I'll put here. So I have changed it up, and I'm stitching with the called for colors, all except for I think one. But I decided to try stitching on black, so that's what I'm doing. So there it is. So this makes for good retreat stitching for the most part, because you can just fill in those squares. I have discovered, and I guess I shouldn't be surprised, this is just an Aida I bought from Michaels. It's obviously not an even weave because, I don't know if you can tell in the video, but the squares aren't actually technically square. They're a little bit more rectangular, but in the long run it's not going to matter. So that has that's coming along fairly well. So pardon me, my other one fell on the floor, so I'm just going to disappear for a minute. So my other one that I worked on at the retreat that I worked on the Sunday is by Heartstrings, and it's called The Santa Factory. So I believe there was, so this one says September. This is a freebie I picked up off of a freebie table at StitchCon. And obviously there was one for every month. But this was one that I spied that I thought was quite cute. And I'm hoping to stitch this guy and finish him, excuse me, as a stand-up, like I did with the cat. So that's my plan anyway. So that's where I'm at with him. I still haven't put his eyes in. I sometimes like to leave that till the end for the greatest impact, but it was fun actually getting some red in there finally. So yeah, got a fair bit done on that as well. So yeah, that's actually all the projects that I worked on this month. So so let's move on to future starts. That's my next segment that I usually do, and I do think I'm going to put that segment on the shelf for now. I do have a number of projects kitted up and ready to go. And I'm kind of in a mindset right now. I really want to get things finished. So I don't have a strong desire to start a bunch of new things right now. So I felt just kitting more things up. Then I just felt like I had this burden of all these things kitted up, ready to be started. So it just felt like moving a problem over a little bit. Not that it's a problem, but you know what I mean. So I think I'm going to put the future start segment on a shelf for now, and I'll probably bring it back later when I do start doing some more new starts, because I do have quite a few there sitting waiting for me already. But I did have some purchases, so I thought I'd throw that in here as haul, because in a way it is a little bit of a future start. So let me just grab these here. The stuff is on a chair that I was going to slide closer, but my cat is laying underneath the chair because she's in the sunshine there, and I don't want to disturb her. So speaking of Hand Dyed by Rolanda, I did purchase a couple of items from her before the retreat and at the retreat. So a couple of things I purchased before. One was this Riolis kit. Gentle Lilac. I just thought the colors were so pretty in that. But I do see that there are French knots. I haven't looked to see how many French knots, but yeah, so it comes with like a gray Ada and all the flosses there. And yes, it is floss. It's not, I know some of their kits have like yarn kind of, thicker fibers anyway. So yes, I purchased that from Rolanda, and then this Mill Hill kit by Jim Shore with this Santa. I don't know if you can see it. There's like a little cardinal in his hand there. I like Jim Shore's artwork, and I just really like the colors in this Santa with sort of those taupes and tans and the reds. I thought his coat was really pretty, so I look forward to doing that. So these kits come with all the floss, the perforated paper, all the beads, beading needle, as well as your tapestry needle to do the stitching. So they're fun kits if you haven't tried one. And then I purchased some fabrics from Yolanda. I'm not going to take this one out just because it's so rattly, but this is one I purchased when I got those two kits. So this is called Oyster, and this is a 32 count linen. So it's kind of a off-white with a little bit of brown, gray in there. So a really nice neutral. And then at the retreat, I got this, again, this is a 32 count linen, and this one's called Harmony. So it's lighter. It's more white than cream. There's some other colors in it. Really pretty. Again, another great neutral. And then I fell in love with this color. So this is actually Quaker cloth, which again, I've never used Quaker cloth before. It looks like an even weave, and it's a 28 count. And this colorway is called Heads or Teals. That's probably pretty good. So it's just this really beautiful teal. Teal bluey green. Again, it's showing up a little more blue than it is in real life. There's a little bit more teal green in it. Anyway, it's very, very pretty. So I'm looking forward to finding something to stitch on that. So those are my purchases that I made. So next, I just want to talk a little bit about plans. So going into October, for anybody that's new, welcome if you're new. I usually have 2 focus projects every month. The first one is always my oldest whip, and it stays as a focus project until it's done. And then each month I pick a second focus project. And those 2 projects get worked on during the week, Monday to Friday. So they might get 2 to 3 days. Sometimes one might get 4 and the other one gets 1, but they both get worked on Monday to Friday. And then on the weekends, I spin my wheel that has all my whips on it, and I pick something to work on just for Saturday and Sunday of that weekend, just to mix it up and keep it interesting. So I did spin my wheel this morning to pick my second focus project. So Behind the Bit will stay as my first one. So I spun the wheel for my second focus project for the month of October, and here's what the wheel picked. So Shooting Stars, Staying Out. So this is Shooting Stars that I showed you just a few minutes ago. So this is going to be my second focus project for the month of October. So we'll see how much I can get done on that in October. I would like to think I could maybe finish it, but I might be being a little bit ambitious. Although it's a simple pattern, there's still a lot of stitches there, but we'll see. Tune in next month to see how successful I am in trying to get it done. So and then so those are my 2 focus projects for October, and then I will continue to pull up random projects on the weekends. I guess I'm not technically a seasonal stitcher. I know a lot of people this time of year like to stitch on fall projects or Halloween projects, and I don't have a lot of specific fall or Halloween projects. I'm not opposed to Halloween. I just don't have a strong desire to stitch a whole bunch of Halloween projects. I see a lot of them out there that I like, but I don't have any of my whips right now. So we'll see, maybe in future. So yeah, I think as far as stitching goes, that's all I have to show. My last 2 segments that I usually do in my videos, one is a sneak peek into my Etsy shop, where I like to show you a few things that I have listed in my Etsy shop. The other one that I've always done in the past is a craft from the past, where I've usually shown a different craft, something that I've made obviously in the past, and just to show you something different other than just cross stitch. But I've been saying for quite a few months now that I'm running out of things to show, and I really can't think of, other than I could show you some more, scrapbooks or cards, but I've shown you a lot of paper crafting, so people might be getting tired of seeing that. So I'm also going to put that segment on the shelf for now. I might come across something someday that I'm going, oh yeah, that's a craft from the past. So it might reappear every now and then if I find or think of something that I have made. But I think I'm going to add a new segment, and I'm calling it Fun Finds on Instagram. I'm not on social media a whole lot, but probably the one I am on the most is Instagram. And so I thought it might just be fun to look for fun and interesting things, stitching related for the most part. You know, there might be the odd time where there's something that's not quite stitching related, but it's something I think that you guys might think is interesting and that I obviously find interesting. But for the most part, I'm going to be looking for cross stitch related stuff. So it might be, you know, designers, patterns, new techniques, finishing ideas, that sort of thing. So I thought I'd give that a try for a while, just again to throw in some variety and add some interest. So that's going to be my new replacement for craft from the past. But so again, if it was the stitching you're interested in, thank you so much. I appreciate each and every one of you, and the fact that you take time out of your day to check out my video or spend some time with me. It means a lot. And yeah, if you're just here for the stitching, I will see you next month, hopefully, God willing. But if you're sticking around, let's show you a little bit of stuff that I have in my Etsy shop. So I had mentioned last month that I made a bunch of stuff to take to sell at the retreat, which was fun. Thank you everybody that attended the retreat, that made purchases. I really appreciate the support. But it did allow me, when I came back, I had some stuff that didn't sell, so I was able to get some photographs taken of that stuff and get it listed up in my shop. So my shop was looking a little empty for most of the summer, but now there's lots of stuff in there. So you know, my shop's linked below if you're curious and just want to go check it out. But no pressure. Like, I'm not here to make sales, but I know people sometimes do like to see, you know, what's out there and what makers are offering. So I thought I would show you a few things. So I had shown you the little mini notions pouch that was our retreat bag. So again, this was the fabric that Jenny and I decided to go with because it was sort of fall themed. So I did have some of that fabric left over after making a bag. So I have made a few of the larger project bags. So so I have a few of these. These are the patchwork ones with the 2-inch squares, and then the solid on the back, and then the zipper. There's the lining inside. So I have 3 or 4 of these up in the shop, I think. And then I've made a few of these, but the other one's sold, but this is the one I have left. So this is a vinyl front with those same 2-inch squares. And I actually put them on the inside and the outside, because my thought process is once you put your fabric and your pattern and your threads and stuff in there, you're not going to be able to see this fun, pretty pattern. Most of it's going to be covered up. So rather than just having plain fabric on the back, I thought it was fun to put the squares in the back too. So that's up there in the shop. And then I have a couple of fall themed bags. This really pretty, I like this color palette. Like the oranges and greens and browns. So that's one with the stripes. And then this one, so it's stripes on the back, but the inside are these adorable hexagons. There's a bunny, so cute. Oh, look on the raccoon's face is adorable. It's a little fox. So those are up in the shop. And then I had made some Christmas ones that I took. So that's the outside fabric. That's the inside fabric. And these little pulls that I'm trying out. And this is the same line of fabric. That's the outside. That's the inside. And there are a few others up there too. This is just a little bit of what's there. And then I did make some more of these coaster thread catcher combos. So you can open it, put your drink here, and then you can put your, I often stick my needle in here so I don't have to worry about my pets trying to pick it up. Or yeah, I set my thread ends on there. So there's a few of these. There's another one. I like this blue one. So yeah, that's a little sneak peek to what you might see in my Etsy shop. As I say, it's linked down below if you're curious and want to go see what else is up there. But so yeah, so the last segment I'm gonna do, my new segment, is fun finds on Instagram. So I was sort of scrolling through one day looking at cross stitch stuff, and I came across this, which I thought was pretty darn cool. And here's another picture, a close-up, just so you could see. So this is all black work, which I'm intrigued by. I've never done it yet. That's Oliver again, trying to lie down. Ollie, you gonna lay down, buddy? He'll stop in a minute. I'm sorry. There he goes. Good boy. That's a good boy. The cat's giving him a dirty look. But yeah, so it's all black work, and the designer's name is Purple Rose Embroidery. I'll put it down here. So I know she has a website. I didn't look to see if she had an Etsy shop, but I will link her website down below. I know she has a bit of crochet stuff, like some crochet patterns, plus or minus kits. She has cross stitch, and she has a lot of black work and a lot of embroidery, if any of that interests you. And yeah, some of it is just PDF charts. Some of them are kits. I think she even sells a little bit of fabric. But yeah, so, you know, if you're curious, as I say, I'll link her website down below if you want to go check it out. But I also wanted to show you a few other of her items that I found on Instagram. So here's this one. That's, I don't know if it's a flower or if you'd consider it a succulent, but it's just really cool. And in the close-up, you can see there's actually 2 colors in there, which I think just adds so much depth and interest to it. So that's really fun. And then, oh, this koala is so cute. How adorable is that? And then the last one that I thought was quite stunning was this rose, which is done in red with the green leaves, but so pretty. So yeah, so she's got lots of cool stuff. So that was my fun find on Instagram. If any of that interests you, you should definitely go check her out and see what all she has to offer. So I have a daughter that loves elephants, so I might consider doing that elephant at some point as a gift for her. So anyway, that is everything from me today. Thank you again, everybody, for stopping by and checking out what I've been up to. As I say, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Bye.